Yo, what's going on? It's your main man, Rick the Dawn. Hey, welcome to my channel, and we're going to talk some Big Brother. Check out wordy.com. That's my site. Moving on. So I finally caught up. I'm using Amazon Prime because I don't have cable, so I'll be usually a day late, fashionably late. We want to go through every single contestant, and I want your feedback on, what I'm saying, and I want to know what you think. All right. Now, every single year that Big Brother airs, we're here. We're doing this very thing right here. And I'm gonna tell you how this all works. There's a simple rule. You must pick one guy that you think is gonna win and one girl that you think is gonna win. And that is how we're gonna proceed. So get your picks ready and in the comment section right now, tell me what guy and what girl will win Big Brother 25. And I'll share what I think as well as I go through each cast member. If you didn't watch it, hang tight. So I'm gonna start off with Blue, and I'm going to read these players as they were introduced on the show. Blue is a brand strategist, right? She had a very compelling story. Um, Migrating from South Korea, that kind of story. I thought it was really inspirational. In terms of her chances of winning, here are my opinions. I'm going to give it out of 10. For me, it is a 4. I believe that Blue might go under the radar, may become a floater, and at some point get kicked off. I don't think she'll have major contributions. Do you agree or disagree? The next player, Red, ex-military. I thought this was a really cool play on words. Now I understand why I wasn't selected when I auditioned for the show. They could clearly had a theme and they were going for certain things. But Red really struck me as a person that was just a fun character. He's going to probably win America's favorite household or America's favorite guest, unless he really, really sucks at competitions. From what I can see in episode 1, it appears that he might be that kind of player that just never wins anything, is really there for comic relief. Out of 10, I gave him an 8 out of 10, primarily because I don't think anyone's going to see him as a threat. And, I think he's going to go pretty far. All right, the next player is Jared, a exterminator, and also the son of Suri. How awesome was that? I thought that was really cool. And it's funny because when I saw him, I didn't initially see Suri's face. It wasn't until it was revealed that it was Suri's son. And I was like, oh crap, of course. Looks exactly like Suri. Like she spit him out. In terms of winning or his chances of winning, I gave him a 6. And that actually might go lower now that I know that Suri's playing in this game. I think he could be potentially gone first now that I know the results and what took place. So I'm not really sure he has a lengthy game ahead of him. All right, the next player is Mecole. And she is a political consultant. Very impressed by her. I really love her story. I love what she's accomplished. It's just really awesome to see how impactful women are becoming in the world, man. Women are really putting a lot of pressure on the guys. And, I just love to see it. But in terms of winning this game, I gave her a 4 out of 10. I'll be honest with you. I think that she has two roles here, in my personal opinion. She either plays that outcast player that just really doesn't connect with anybody on a personal level, and as such, she gets left out of a lot of votes. And whenever it's convenient for the power side of the house to get rid of somebody, she'll be that player. The other way that she can go is if she aligns herself and inundates herself with the other ladies of the house and forms somewhat of a pseudo female powerhouse alliance, which we rarely see in these games. They really never survive, both in Big Brother and Survivor. But if she can pull that off, I think she'll have a great chance to go pretty far. But I'm going to go with the latter. I think that she'll be a player that ultimately falls through the cracks and never really align with anyone, for strategic purposes. And as such, I gave her a 4 out of 10 in terms of winning this game. Who do you think is going to win this game? Sound off in the comment section. The next player I want to talk about is Matt. I'll be honest with you. Matt really, really impressed me. I was extremely, extremely inspired by his story. He's in the Olympics and he's deaf and he reads language through, he reads people's mouth. I just thought that was so inspirational. And he's ripped, he's tall, he's super athletic. He has an athletic build. His avatar is like gigantic, right? He's like huge and rippled. Like I think that's going to be very helpful in these competitions. And in terms of winning this game, I gave him a very surprising rating. I gave him a 6 out of 10. And I'm not sure why I did that in hindsight. I think Matt has a good shot. But I guess what it was is I was a little concerned that he might fall to the wayside. Once people realize that he's deaf and he's not necessarily initiating conversations because he's listening more so or trying to gather information. His mind is not necessarily on, starting alliances, starting friendships. It's really on gathering intel because he can't hear. So I was wondering if that would be a liability for himself or for his game. And, I gave him better than average, which would have been 5. So I think 6 out of 10 is is respectable and encompassing all things in terms of his ailment. I was pretty a little concerned. I don't know if you could tell. I'm just trying to figure out my thoughts as I'm reading what I wrote down, because another part of me is saying that might be what propels him further. But here's the thing also. By him being so athletic, once people get a sense of how athletic Matt is, they're going to say there's no way we're going to beat this guy. They're going to say, number one, he has a great story. He's athletic and he's bro. They're going to get rid of this guy. That's why I gave him a 6 out of 10. The next player is Izzy, a flute player, part of the LGBTQ community, and, a super personality. Very, very nice, a fun person. I really liked and enjoyed how she came across. Her energy was magnetic. And, I'll be honest with you, I gave her an 8 out of 10. This season seems to be strongly geared towards representation of the LGBTQ community. And I think that as such is going to provide somewhat of a safe haven for players who identify. And I could be wrong. Now, when Izzy came on the screen, I was strongly hoping that she would get through her entire monologue without mentioning she was LGBTQ. It just didn't happen. I'm still waiting for that moment when the LGBTQ community is confident enough to just be. I think we're still early in their exposure and their awareness of that group, that they still feel like they have to present themselves when they walk in the room. And it's, to me, very obnoxious. It's kind of like me saying, hey, my name is Rick. I'm straight. That'd be weird, right? So at some point, I'm hoping that they'll become comfortable in America, comfortable in their skin, and comfortable in their representation where they don't have to announce it, because we see it, we get it. You don't have to tell anyone, but, to each his own. But anyway, I gave her an 8 because I think that she has the type of personality that's going to go far in this game. Only time will tell. The next player is Jag, and he seems to be an influencer. There was no indication of what he did for a living, so I was very surprised and very confused by that. And I gave him a 5 out of 10. I'm not sure why I gave him a 5 out of 10. Outside of the fact that I was a little concerned with his ability to connect with other players. So for me, that seems to be something that I need to see. Is he going to be a player who's going to be open and be, okay with conversating with other people in the house? Or is he going to be that guy that kind of sits in the corner and observes? If he's the latter, if he's the player that's kind of observing, I don't see him having a strong chance to win this game. All right, the next player is Reilly. Reilly is a bartender. She seems to be a girly girl. If there's a girls' alliance in the house, without question, she will be in that alliance, okay? I gave Reilly a 6 out of 10 as a chance to win this game. She reminds me of Allison from season 24. And as such, I believe she's going to be someone who falls into a showmance very early in the game. And for the most part, we'll kind of ride the waves of whoever's in power. I don't see her making power moves. I hope I'm wrong, because this archetype, the one that Reilly represents in my mind, it just seems to be that dainty, showmance-driven player who doesn't really win often, okay? The next player is Luke, a digital artist. Man, Luke is like, who was that guy from last season who was dating? It was Kyle. Kyle was dating Allison. To me, it's like Kyle went and got ripped and jumped into some kind of machine, the same machine that Captain America jumped into when he became a super soldier. It feels like that's what happened to Kyle from last season. He jumped into a super soldier machine and came back as Luke. I mean, this guy is huge, but he's also dorky and kind of nerdy. I absolutely adored this guy. I thought he was pretty awesome. In terms of winning the game, I give Luke a 8 out of 10 chance. I think he's going to perfectly blend the two styles of play, the athleticism and the nerdy gameplay. I think those two gameplay or styles of gameplay will form a great cohesion that will get him pretty far in the game. We'll see. The next player is Felicia. I believe it's pronounced Felicia, not Felicia, Felicia. And she is a real estate agent. She is 63 years old, And man, does she have a strong personality. I absolutely love seeing her on the screen. She's former military, so I know a lot about that. When you're talking about a woman from the military, they're always going to be tough and strong and driven, all that kind of stuff. But in terms of winning this game, I had to be realistic and say I gave her a 3 out of 10. I think the fact that she's 63 is going to cause, some issues within the game. From a generational standpoint, I don't think that a lot of people are going to be able to connect with her unless she's a different person from what I was able to gather from first impressions. I'm still waiting for that older player to kind of come in and really inundate themselves in the house and fit in with the younger crowds without being the house mom or dad. And I feel like that is the role that she's ultimately going to fall in. I think that Felicia is going to fall into the house mom, and that's going to get her somewhere. It's like either one or two ways. She's either going to be the first one eliminated because she'll be perceived as the weaker player. But if she gets past the first week, I perceive that she's going to go pretty far in the game, somewhere in the middle when it's time to kind of cut ties. Okay, the next player is Hisam. Now, this is another player that I'm kind of like really, really excited to see play. He looks like, or I should say, he is a combination or a hybrid between the nerd and the jock. It's the weirdest thing. I've seen two players in this season so far with that archetype, and I'm not sure how this is going to go. But if you want to know, yes, I believe that Hisam's going to go pretty far. I gave him a 10 out of 10 chance of winning. And this is not to say I'm right. I mean, last season I picked, who was it? I picked Michael and Taylor. Wait, did I pick Taylor last year? I think I picked Taylor. No, it was Michael and somebody. I think it was Taylor. No, it was Michael and the guy that smelled, Matt. Yeah, I picked Matt and Michael last season to win. So I did pretty well. Mike was a heck of a player. And I always pick on episode 1. After episode 1, no picks are valid. So I picked Hisam for this season. He's smart. He also dabbles in like theater and entertainment. So he's a hybrid of all types of hybrid. He's part of the LGBTQ community. So you might have support there. He has a lot of different realms of support that I think will get him pretty far in this game and ultimately allow him to win. He's ripped, he's big, he's strong, and I think all these things combined will make a big difference as it relates to Hisam. The next player I want to talk about is Cory, and he is a student. I gave him an 8 out of 10 chance of winning this game. Let me tell you, Cory is the perfect Big Brother winner archetype, right? Or he has the look of a Big Brother winner. That's what I'm trying to say. If you look at all of Big Brother's winners over history, what I believe you're going to see is several Corys. I just think he's that type of player. He has that build. He's kind of dorky, kind of weird, kind of nerdy. But at the same time, Cory is also into mixed martial arts. So he has like some really cool nuances that might get him over the hump. And I gave him an 8 out of 10 chance of winning. But I also think that other players in the game, being super players, are going to recognize a Cory from a mile away and say, we can't let this guy get far because we know exactly what we're in for when we play games with the Cory. All right, the next player is Bowie Jane. What a name, right? She's really awesome. I really, really enjoyed watching her explain who she was. She's a criminologist or a judge. I think that's what they call them. I forget. She used the word criminologist. I want to say it's a judge. It came across as a judge to me. And then at nighttime, she's a DJ. Along with Hisam, who does one thing in the day and one thing at night, she also shares that particular, lifestyle. So it's like two great parallels. You go from being a court or judge to a DJ. You just like, how does those two careers meld themselves together? I thought that she had a 5 out of 10 chance of winning. I didn't see Bowie Jane going very, very far in this game. I think she struck me as a player who won't be in the know, a player who won't know everything about everything that's going on. But I could be wrong. As she said in her monologue, she is a criminologist, so she actually, on a day-to-day basis, look at people's, body types and not body types, their body language, and she's able to spot criminals and people doing the wrong thing by just looking at them. So you would think naturally that she's going to go pretty far, but I don't think so. I think Bowie Jane's going to go pretty early. I gave her a 5 out of 10 chance. All right, the next player is America. All right, America is a receptionist. And man, I really, really enjoyed her monologue. I just think that, she's very beautiful. I'm sorry to bring that into it, but she is beautiful to me. And I'm not just talking about physically. I just liked her spirit. Her energy was pretty magnetic. However, upon first impressions, I gave her a 4 out of 10. And that was primarily because I didn't know what kind of gameplay she was going to exude when she got into the house. Was she going to be a kind of player who, fit in with everybody? Or was she going to be the player who I think would make her more effective? If America plays the back and doesn't try to be involved with any big moves, she can go very far in this game. And I wasn't sure if she understood that. I think for me, it felt like watching her talk, America feels like she's going to, be involved with the big moves. And that's what scared me from giving her more points. I gave her a 4 out of 10 ultimately, mainly because I don't know if she's going to have the right mindset. To me, America wins this game, goes far in this game if she plays the back, steps back, and doesn't try to get involved with anything major. There's so many big personalities in this season, so much going on this season, so many twists, and she can easily fall in the background, lay low. Nobody's going to target America unless she makes herself a target. And because I don't know how she's going to play, I gave her a 4 out of 10. All right, the next player is Cameron, who appears to be like a cowboy of some sort. Really sad monologue. I didn't expect him to go so in depth with his personal life, but apparently he's separated from his wife and he's raising his daughter. It doesn't seem like he has custody either. So I wasn't really sure how to look at Cameron. I hope that he's able to separate. I think it's a break from life, I guess, this show for him. I gave Cameron a 6 out of 10. To me, he looks like a good old boy, someone who's going to be like knee deep with the fellas and never going to perceive a woman or look at a woman as an equal. That's just an opinion based off his archetype, the way he looks. So I want to be very clear in that. I don't know this guy. I'm not making a judgment too soon. However, I have to base it off of what I've seen in the past and what he looks like, or where it looks like he fits in with the players I've seen in the past. And for me, it looks like Cameron is going to be the type of player who's just going to stay with the fellas. And as such, he's going to be alienated from half of the house. So I'm going to go with 6 out of 10 for a chance to win, a chance of winning the game. All right, the next player is Kirsten, who is a biologist. Man, this is the most beautiful woman I've seen on Big Brother in some time outside of Taylor. She's absolutely gorgeous. And, you can tell that she leads with her beauty. Even in her monologue, she said that she wants people in the house to see her as a pretty face and no brains. So I'm not out of pocket by saying she's absolutely gorgeous because she knows she is and she's leading with it. And I gave her a 9 out of 10 chance of winning. And it might be a little controversial to think that a player like this would go as far. But first off, she's a biologist. She was in college at age 17. At age 17, I was flunking tests in 11th grade. So very, very smart and beautiful. That's going to be a very deadly combination. She's not going to be the airhead, but she's smart enough to realize that is the archetype that she needs to play. I think the guys, I'm sorry, I'm speaking on behalf of all the guys. I think the guys are going to see her as absolutely beautiful, and they're going to, in some ways, protect her game if she plays the flirty role. I don't perceive or foresee her being in a showmance, which would stop all of that. So I think she's going to appear available and gullible, and that's going to give guys the green light to try to protect it to some extent. And then she said the magic word. She said that when I get into the house, she's going to try to form a female alliance. Now, that's very key for her style of gameplay. If she can keep the guys from, trying to take her out because they love her as eye candy on the show, but at the same time, she can form an alliance with all the ladies, that pretty much puts her in the middle safely. And that's why I gave her an out of 10. Now, we saw some weird things happen this season. This episode, we saw Frankie, Danielle, and Brittany. They're kind of playing around with a time machine. So the big question is, will they be in this season? I'm not sure at the moment. I heard that they are. I heard through the grapevine that they are. But we know that Cirie is in, right? So that's interesting. However, I did give them Frankie, Danielle, and Brittany scores. I thought Frankie had a 10 out of 10 chance of winning. His personality takes him so many places. And it would not surprise me if he won this season, because he's going to come somewhere in the middle, come somewhere near the end, and he's going to come in with an alliance. Anybody like Cirie, Danielle, Brittany, they're going to all protect players like Frankie because, they're going to come in together, and they're also veterans of the game. So I gave him a 10. In terms of Danielle, I've never seen her season, so it's hard to really gauge how she would play. But it's my understanding that she made it to the end of her season and got bit up by the jury, a bitter jury, by the way. So I gave her a 6 out of 10 because she might have played the game so long ago that the other players don't quite know to fear her. As far as Brittany is concerned, I gave her a 7 out of 10. During Brittany's run, I thought she got further than she needed to get. I didn't really see any strong moves from her outside of just chatting a lot. And I gave her a 7 because I think she has actually become like a legendary player as a result of like fame and, people love Brittany. I see her so often. There's always good vibes. But in terms of gameplay, I don't know. I'll be surprised if she wins the game. I'll say that. And I still gave her a 7, which I don't think is low. All right, the last player is Cirie, reality legend. We're talking about Big Brother. We're talking about what's that? The Traders, right? Traders. She won Traders, never won Survivor. Been to the finals once or twice. Was it once? I gave Cirie a 9 out of 10. I just think Cirie is going to come in and just show why she is the GOAT. Well, she's not the GOAT. She's not the GOAT. But why she's so legendary, though. She's a legend in the game. And I can't wait to see Cirie play with other veteran players from Big Brother history, and also her son. That's going to make her a target, obviously. But here's the thing. I think that Cirie is going to play this perfectly, and she's going to protect her son while at the same time protect herself. And I gave her a 9 out of 10. All right, so in terms of demographics, maybe you want to know, I didn't really, capture it perfectly. I will admit that. But I saw 4 Black players, 8 white players, 1 Asian player, 1 Hispanic player, 1 Italian player, and 1, I want to say, Sheik or Arab player. So that's the demographic. In terms of like lifestyle, I saw 3 gay players, 15 straight players, 8 men, 8 women. In terms of body type, I saw 4 athletic players, 7 brainsy strategic players, 4 wild child type of players that seem to be very hippie-ish kind of style of players, 3 girly girl players. And that was pretty much the archetypes I saw. And some of these players, they fit into multiple archetypes. So I think it's safe to say that Big Brother has what they're looking for in terms of a formula down to a T, and this season was not much different. Love the cast. What did you think about the cast? Did you think the cast was this? Did you think the cast was that? Ultimately, I like the diversity in the cast. I like the different personalities in the cast, and it should be a good season. Again, I loved it. Now, in terms of who I think is going to win this season, may I share with you who I believe is going to win? Okay. I told you at the beginning of this episode to pick 2 players, and I'm going to pick my 2 players. Now, if you haven't already done so, go to the comment section and write down who your 2 players are. It must be a guy and it must be a girl. Okay, for me, the guy, and also, I'll go with the girl first, actually. The girl who I think will win Big Brother is, or has a potential to win Big Brother, is America. Now, when I initially talked about America, I said that she had a 4 out of 10 chance of winning, depending on how she played. But I think I know how she's going to play. I think she's smart enough to play the back, and as such, I think she is the female or woman in the house that has the greatest chance of winning this season. I think America has the greatest chance of winning. All right, on the male side, I think that Hisam has the greatest chance of winning Big Brother 25. Hisam is a doctor. He's super strong. He also has a little bit of the geeky gene. He is an entertainer during nighttime, so he has both of these lifestyles. He has a lot of different experiences. I think that's going to aid him very well in this game. So I gave him a 10 out of 10, of course. And I also said, I think he's going to win the game. So that is the guy that I'm picking, Hisam. And as far as the female, I'm picking America. Now, between Hisam and America, let's say they're in the final 2. Who do I think will win between Hisam and America? For me, it will be Hisam. Now, like I said, I have a terrible track record as it relates to picking the winners for Big Brother. I haven't got it right in a long, probably ever. Like, who knew that Taylor was going to win last season? I didn't. I mean, she was the first Black female winner of all time. Like, who knew that was going to happen? I didn't. So I picked Mike and Matt. I mean, to me, that was the smartest decision. So I had to, be a little smarter this season and say who doesn't appear like a winner but could change the world and win for the first time ever. And that's where America came in. I just loved her energy. I love what she seems to stand for. So, for me, that was an easy pick. America Lopez, love it. And then, of course, Hisam, just all around, just a good player. Strong. He has the doctor's background. He also has the entertainment background. I love that. And what that tells me is he has the ability to, come as a dual threat. He can talk to the intellectuals, but he can also talk to all the wild childs in the house, wild children, what have you. And we have a lot of those kind of people in the house. So he has that dual personality that I think will help him get further in the game. So for me, Hisam is, without question, the player who has the greatest shot of winning. Who do you think is going to win this season? I am very, 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 very interested in knowing what you think. And sound off in the comment section. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.